Welcome. This is the Cory Bender Show here at the South Studio. This is, being filmed here for BWC Network, and we're going to be talking about our second segment today, which is the mediocre slash, okay games we're going to be able to watch during week 2. And I'm here with Ryan Hartson, of course, and let's dive right into the Bills versus Raiders. Now, coming off last week, the Bills destroyed the Chiefs in Arrowhead, and they looked god-awful, the Chiefs. I don't know it was so much of Ryan Fitzpatrick doing his thing or just the Chiefs' defense. And also Matt Castle played terribly. And then when you look at the Raiders, they played the second Monday night doubleheader game versus the Broncos, and they won, I think, by 3. And what do you think about this matchup?
It's two teams that are pretty bad.
Yeah.
Both of these teams are going to be around 500 at the end of the season, probably, which is a shocker for Buffalo.
Yeah.
Because I thought they were going to be awful. But it's two teams that are probably a little better than expected. I'm interested to see down the stretch who these teams play later.
Yeah.
Because once the Raiders run into the San Diegos and New Englands of the world,
Yeah.
they'll
lose.
We'll see their true colors.
Yeah.
Same with Buffalo. When they start playing teams in their division, we'll see what the Patriots have to say
Yeah.
about Ryan Fitzpatrick's 4 touchdown passes.
Yeah.
So this is an interesting matchup for no other reason than it's two teams that at least look like they're going in the right direction.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens. Raiders going cross-country, 1 o'clock game, Ryan Fitzpatrick. This one could be just as ugly as the Chiefs'
could be.
Bills game from
Because
last
the
week.
Raiders' defense is not that great. I mean, either of them aren't that great. But,
Right.
Well, anyway, the next game's the Redskins versus the Cardinals. Redskins are coming off a big victory over the Giants, and they looked pretty good. And then the Cardinals, of course, lost to Cam Newton and the Panthers. What do you see? Do you think the Cardinals will be able to bounce back?
It's the same deal. Cardinals going cross-country to Washington. I want to say it's a 1 o'clock noon game.
I think so.
It's one of those. I want to say it is. One way or the other, I don't think they're going to be able to handle that. And just because the Redskins are playing a cross-country team early, I think that's going to give them the advantage in this
All right.
one.
Yeah, I can see that.
But it is Sexy Rexy versus Kevin Cobb.
Yeah.
So the quarterback matchup leads to Arizona,
It's
but
like
the
about the
defense
same
is
level.
terrible,
Yeah.
and the Redskins can score some points.
Yeah, they can.
So this is an interesting game between two mediocre teams. Again,
Yeah, it's going to be coming down to who throws the most turnovers or who has the most turnovers.
there aren't
in
too
my
many
mind.
god-awful games. There's like one god-awful
Yeah,
game.
there's one god-awful game. But
The rest of them are all right.
Yeah, the next game, which is pretty intriguing, is the Vikings versus the Buccaneers. We have up-and-coming Josh Freeman versus Donovan McNabb. I'm really looking to see if McNabb can throw some more touchdowns in this game because last week they faced the Chargers.
39 passing yards.
Yeah, that's...
To me, I thought McNabb was going to be better
Yeah, me
than
too.
he is, and that's my fault. He looks the same as he did when he was with the Redskins last year.
Yeah.
I think he's I was like, no, he's not deteriorating because
And I was trying to defend
the Redskins
him too.
were awful.
Yeah,
but
because the Redskins had no receivers, but when you look at it here too, Percy Harvin's a good receiver, but really, there's not much else.
no, he has it. He's got the running game. You've got Visante Shenko.
Yeah, which is good.
You have the tools, and
But
you
he
should
can't
be
deliver.
You should be able to throw for more than 39 yards in a football game.
Yeah, and the Chargers defense is not that great either. They're good,
Right.
But they're not the best.
And the secondary is questionable. But the pass rush is there. I'm off the McNabb bandwagon, and Adrian Peterson can't run for 300 yards every week.
No.
So, is this in Tampa? Or is this in Minnesota?
believe so. I believe it's in Tampa. I
Okay.
did not write all
Well,
that
Josh
down,
Freeman will bounce back then.
Yeah, Josh Freeman will
against
definitely
a
have a good
secondary that is just awful.
Yes. The next game is the Browns versus the Colts. Now, originally, I would have maybe put this in kind of the big game category if Peyton Manning was still around. But we have Kerry Collins versus Colt McCoy. And Colt McCoy does look very good. Came off a disappointing loss against the Bengals, which we thought the Browns were going to blow them out. So I'm wondering to see what he can do in this game. What do you think?
I'm disappointed in the Browns.
Yeah,
I
me
expected way more out of them.
Yes.
And they're just a disappointing team. And hey, when you get your hopes up on Cleveland,
They usually bring you down.
yeah, I'm done. I'm done. It's been one game, and if you can't beat the worst team in the league,
Yeah.
and Cincinnati is
Yeah, it
the
is
worst team in the league, I'm off.
Okay.
Done. McCoy is going to be fine. Maybe they'll get better in another year. They don't have the weapons on the perimeter,
No,
and their
they do
defense
not.
is questionable. It's going to be another long year in
Yeah,
Cleveland.
they need
kids.
to get a good receiver because Josh Cribbs is only a good returner, and he's all right. But really, they need more weapons. Is pretty much what they need.
And Indianapolis is terrible.
Yeah, they're also going to be having a tough year. They could really have a chance of going like 2-14, which is probably what they're going to do.
Yeah,
which sucks.
Really bad team.
Yeah. Next we got the Broncos versus the Bengals. We have Kyle Orton versus Andy Dalton. This is going to be interesting because Kyle Orton looks pretty good. He lost barely in the Raiders game last time, and then we saw Andy Dalton barely beat the Browns. So what do you think that's going to happen?
You hyped it about as much as you could.
Yeah,
I have
pretty much
nothing else to say.
There really is nothing.
This is the worst game on the schedule.
Yeah, it is, because this is two really jokes of teams playing each other.
Unwatchable football.
Yeah. And then next is
the Bengals could be 2-0.
Yeah, they could. Which is...
And imagine when they run into a big boy. Ouch.
They're going to be... Texans versus the Dolphins. Now, the Texans last week, they crushed the Colts. I know, I would say it'd be impressive, but they didn't have Peyton Manning, so I'm not that impressed. I know they did put a good whooping on them, but I think the Dolphins, they had a pretty good show on Monday night versus the Patriots. Eventually, Tom Brady started to get it going, you know. He only threw for like 500 yards.
Whatever.
That's not good at all, you know.
Overrated.
Yeah, he sucks. But anyway, I think the Texans can have a good game. They have all defensive weapons with Andre and Arian Foster and Matt Schaub. I mean, the defense is so questionable. You never know if they can be able to step it up. But I don't think Chad Henne can lead the Dolphins to any, last-second situation touchdowns.
All I've got to say about this game is if Matt Schaub turns the football over like he did against Indianapolis, the Dolphins are going to win this game.
Yeah, they could.
It's in Miami. Chad Henne looks better than I thought he would. And the Texans' defense, I'm not ready to trust quite yet. If you shut down Kerry Collins. Oh. So I'm not quite ready to do that.
Yeah.
So we will see. But if the Texans take care of the football, they'll be fine.
Yep. The next game is the Jets versus the Jaguars. Now, the Jaguars, their starting QB is going to be Luke McCown because they got our David Garrard. And then we saw last week the Jets Sunday night beating the Cowboys in the last few minutes of the game. Romo and Des Bryant disconnected. He threw an interception. They got good field position and only got a field goal, which was good enough. What I saw from Mark Sanchez was a little bit more ability to be clutch.
Looks good.
He does look very good.
Looks good.
He's taking a little bit of a step.
60% completion, threw the ball 45 times.
Which is good.
Looks like a franchise quarterback
he
for
really
once.
does.
That was the best game he's ever
played. Yeah, it's very true. Because
very, very good.
Whenever he has like over 40 passes, you're like, wow, because they're such a running type of team.
They didn't run the ball.
No, they really did not. Dallas was able to either shut it down or they just couldn't get anywhere.
In this game, it comes down to the Jets' pass rush and Sanchez taking care of the ball. The Jaguars were a disaster.
Yeah.
So the Jets pretty much just have to show up.
All you need to do is shut down MJD. That's all you have to do.
Yeah, stop the run, hit Luke McCown in the face.
Yeah.
Sanchez just has to complete a couple passes.
And then it's all over, yeah.
No problems.
Yep. The next game is a really, really good team that I feel bad putting in here for. The Ravens versus the Titans, who are a terrible team. We saw just completely destroy the Steelers. Now, we both pointed out, you pointed this out first, the Steelers, we didn't think were going to be great. We thought they'd be a 500 team, but they didn't look good at all. Roethlisberger threw so many interceptions. They had a total of 7 turnovers. Now, was just that Ravens defense, or is that really just really bad offense?
I'll answer it this way. If I was going to put my 3 best teams in the league, I would put New England 1, Green Bay 2, Baltimore 3.
Yeah.
Baltimore is one of the best teams in the AFC. They're going to be around all year, and if Flacco plays as well as he did last week, the Ravens can win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He looks to me better than Matt Ryan right now.
Yes, definitely better.
And that script was flipped at this time last year, if I'm not mistaken. So, and they were drafted together, so we're always going to be comparing them.
Of course we are.
So, if Flacco plays like he did last week all year long, the Ravens are going to go. I mean, they're going to be unbelievable.
Even if they don't even play like a few notches below, they're still going to be able to beat the Titans because they don't have enough weapons. And Matt Hasselbeck's a good quarterback, but he doesn't have anything around him to throw to.
Ravens look like a 13-win team.
Yeah, they do.
So the Titans are screwed.
Yeah. All right. Well, the next matchup is the team we just talked about before, the Steelers versus the Sea Chickens.
Can I start on this one?
Yes. Go for it.
The Seahawks are so bad. It's in Pittsburgh. The Seahawks got blown out by San Francisco.
And they're a joke of a team.
Seattle's going to have a really hard time because do you think Pittsburgh's a little upset?
Just a tad bit. I was going to point that out. Like, you think they're going to be a little pissed?
I think they're going to be a little mad, yeah.
Because this is the first time Joe Flacco's beaten them since he's been the quarterback.
So I expect Ben Roethlisberger to throw for a whole bunch of yards. I think they're going to run the ball. I think they're going to play great defense. And I think Seattle's not going to be able to score any points.
No, not
I'm calling for a shutout.
Yeah. All right, the last one we have here is the Cowboys versus the 49ers. We saw last week. We talked before the Cowboys. This connection between Romo and Des Bryant. He throws an interception to Revis, and the game ends with a field goal for the Jets. I really see Romo starting to get back into a groove here because this 49ers team is not that good. Only thing you have to worry about is their linebackers and Takeo Spikes. I believe he's still there, and then Patrick Willis, undoubtedly the best middle linebacker in the league.
Agreed.
But their secondary is terrible, so all you have to deal with is a pass rush. And I think the Cowboys' offensive line is good enough to be able to keep them in content. And I think Romo will be able to throw for a good amount of yards and win this game pretty easily.
Harbaugh, I was shocked at how good Alex Smith looked. Now, it was against Seattle, so you don't want to go too crazy.
Yeah.
But Harbaugh believed in Alex Smith. If Harbaugh coaches up this guy, the game might be a little closer than people expect. It is going to the West Coast. I would just watch out. I think Dallas is going to win the game.
Yeah.
But I do think San Francisco might be a little better than the 2-14 team we thought they were going to be.
Maybe.
I mean, 6-10, but
Yeah.
they look a little better than I thought they would.
Maybe, yeah. Okay, well, that's been all of our discussions of the kind of mediocre games or the games we kind of look forward to. Next, we have the big boy games or
There we
games
go.
that we just think that are going to be great matchups coming up. And this is Cory Bender's show here on BWC Network.